How are we doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
How's your spring been going? Especially, obviously Hudson's not been able to participate, so obviously that opens up reps for you and everyone else. Just how's everything going with the new offense?
Yeah, I think it's going great. Like you said, Hudson hasn't been available yet, but we're hopeful and grateful. I mean, I think he posted yesterday, it's been a year to date, so it's awesome for him. We're all super excited for him, and he's a great player and a great teammate. And, everybody else is stepping up in the room. Peter Barrio going on year 2, playing tight end, and 2 freshmen with Noah and Dylan. They're doing great. So, we're not scared of any reps, and we'll do whatever it takes, and whatever Coach Neuheisel says or Coach Insiri says, we'll get done. So it's been exciting. It's been a great spring so far. Excited for Friday Night Lights coming up this Friday. So it's been good.
Last year, the offense, it said it was a little bit complex. What is the transition from that and then working with Coach Insiri?
Yeah, I think, last year, right, may have not gone the way we wanted to, but I think Coach Insiri has been a great coach and coming in here and getting the knowledge that we need to succeed on the field available to us, and breaking it down to where, you're not really thinking too much and you're just going to play, right? Because that's the most important part, is just getting out there and playing. So, he's been great. He's a great teacher. Coach Neuheisel is also a great teacher with this offense. So, looking forward to finishing up spring, and it'll be a great fall come around.
So with the play calling, is it a little bit shorter this year? I know the calls last year.
It's different than it was. It is shorter, but it's different terminology. Everyone has their own type of ways to call different things, but everything has a meaning to it, and there is, whatever we're doing, it makes complete sense, and it has great rhyme for reason.
And piggybacking off of that, I mean, I remember last year a lot of guys were saying it's like a full sentence what it was like last year.
Yeah.
Like 3-4 words. Like what's the verbiage?
Yeah,
like?
I mean, I would say it's in that range, or maybe a little extended on some. Right. Not every play call is the same, or every play. So. I think it just varies, and we've spent a lot of time up in those meeting rooms trying to nail it in for spring. To like I had mentioned earlier, like just getting out there and going to play, not having to think too much when we're on the field.
What areas do you think you've seen yourself improve so far?
I think this spring I've seen improvement. Looking back from last spring, I think my route running has really increased, and I think my leadership as well. I mean, last year we had a great tight end room with Mo and Bryce, and with those guys leaving, I think that there makes opportunity to step in and be a leader for the team in the tight end room, and hopefully on the offense, right? So I think in those 2 areas for sure, and just looking forward to continue with it. We're about halfway done this spring, so see what else we can keep growing on and keep getting better on.
And you touched on the depth earlier with the young guys, Noah, Dylan. Do they present similar strengths, or are they a little different in some ways? Like, in what ways are they maybe impressing you guys the most so far?
I think with the impressions of the most of us who have been there is just like how quick they're getting things, right? Very, very smart kids, getting knowledge and being able to just come out here and play. I'd say they're, your typical tight end, right? They're going to be able to block, they're going to be able to pass catch, and they're going to be able to stretch the field vertically and have that elusiveness that you need at the position to make impactful plays. I'm looking forward to how they continue with spring and how fall camp goes and how the fall goes. I think they're both going to be great players for us.
Like you mentioned, Maliki's moved on from the program. What do you think the level of competition is like been for that first string spot?
Yeah, I think there's anywhere you go, there's going to be competition, and you never want to get complacent. You never want to get comfortable where you're at. So I think there's a ton of competition, right? We're all super close in that tight end room, and we're all really great friends and brothers. But at the end of the day, we are competing, but we never let that get in the way of friendship or anything like that. But there is a great level of competition in the room and as well as on the field for wanting to be the best position group on the field as well.
And going back to Hudson for a second, when we were talking to Jerry, he mentioned, he was basically honest, like there were some hard times for him as teammates and, guys in that position room. What were some of the things maybe you guys were doing to kind of, keep his spirits up and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, early on, right, it's kind of tough to move around when you're just getting that surgery done, right? So, giving him rides. Mo was my roommate last year. I remember, numerous times we picked him up or took him, or even Michael Church last year. So, you know, in those early stages, it's tough to move around, and he's trying to do whatever he can to get back as fast. So any way we can help him, taking him to physical therapy, taking him, you know, wherever he needs, and, you know, never being afraid to give a shout to any of us, because I mean we'll be the first ones there to help him out. And like I said, he's a great teammate, but even better friend. So.
Is there anything else that you guys do as a position group to kind of bond out the field aside from, you know, taking people to therapy?
Yeah. Right. It's the fun part, right? No, I mean, we've done countless dinners, just as players, as tight ends, and as well with Coach Neuheisel. I mean, he's great with the camaraderie. It's you know, he's a great coach, but even like you know, you don't want your coach to be your friend, but he does bring us all together. He's a glue guy, and you know, we all love hanging with each other. I mean, we'll be up in those meeting rooms, you know, just whether it's football or time to hang out and talk about life or whatever that is, we all enjoy each other's company. So yeah, we'll do the beach, dinners, whatever, you name it. So.
You mentioned taking on a leadership role. Has that changed your perspective on the field, off the field in any way?
I don't think it's changed my perspective, right? But going into year 4, right, when I was coming in, there was these older guys who were here that I kind of looked up towards. So I just want to be like that type of guy, that the older guy on the field, on the team, that, you know, when a younger freshman steps in, if you have any questions, in work ethic, whatever it is, want to be the guy that, you know, Jack was always there to either help or shown these great, you know, traits that made him, you know, valuable to our team, not just on the field but off as well. So.
And some of the early feedback with, you know, Tino Sinceri has always been about his offensive mind and the way he sees the game. How is that mixed with Jerry? And, you know, obviously, you know, he's got his own perspective, especially as a former quarterback. Mm-hmm. How do those two work together in maybe the meeting rooms and that sort of thing?
Yeah, you know, you mentioned Coach Neuheisel's a former quarterback, and that is super helpful to the tight ends, right? He helps us see the whole picture, right? Not just, let's just know what the tight ends are doing. Let's know the whole concept, the whole idea towards the play. So, you know, I know they bounce ideas off each other, and they might, you know, do other stuff behind closed doors, but I just know what Coach Neuheisel and Coach Sinceri bring to us in the meeting room is just, you know, a lot of experience, a lot of knowledgeable ideas, and why we're doing things, why we're doing X, why we're doing Y, why we're doing Z. So, you know, I always look forward to meeting times with them, because they're just super smart and super knowledgeable.
How much does it help to know, like, why you're doing each thing as opposed to just, like, you know, a coach tells you to do something and you do it?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you know, as a player and as tight ends, right, we're kind of like maybe looked at as the Swiss Army knife, so you never know. You know, we might install something, you know, as A, but it might change to B, C, or D, you know what I mean? So getting in every position, getting comfortable, and being able to, you know what other people are doing on the field is super helpful to what we got going on as well.
How's it been working with Joey this year?
You know, Joey's great. He's came in, been a natural leader. I mean, he's great talent, great off the field as well. Looking forward to continuing our mesh during the spring, but I think you know, he's done a great job with getting us out here on the weekends and having these player run walkthroughs and orchestrating that, and just getting us ready for spring or whatever it takes. So I think he's going to have a great year, and looking forward to it. And, you know, let's just continue with spring and see how that goes.
Thanks, Jeff.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.